Hello, my name's John Cossham and I'm from Extinction Rebellion York. I'd like to tell you about a meeting that I went to a couple of days ago on November the 18th, where I was invited to speak about Extinction Rebellion. It was the Student Law Clinic's Day of Action, and the subject was climate change and climate justice, focusing on air pollution at the University of York. Other presentations included one on treaties and their effectiveness or lack of, one on urban air quality, one by the City of York Council on their anti-idling campaign, that's motor vehicles being still but still polluting, one on a cost-benefit analysis of air pollution, one on indoor air pollution, and then the role of influencers on social media. The format was a Pecha Kucha thing, where you're supposed to have 20 slides, and each of those slides goes up for 20 seconds. And I said, I don't think I can do slides, but I will do 20 pieces of paper, and that's what I'm going to do for you now. I'm going to do my 20 slides or 20 pieces of paper, and each one is timed to take 16 to 20 seconds, although I might speak a bit more slowly for the video, so it might take a little bit more than 6.5 minutes. But this is what I said, and I started off by saying Extinction Rebellion has nothing to say about air pollution per se, unless you want to include carbon dioxide as an air pollutant. But basically they wanted an introduction to Extinction Rebellion and a bit about Extinction Rebellion York, and that's what I'm going to do for you. Okay, so here goes. Since the Industrial Revolution, the human population has risen exponentially, fueled by forests, coal, oil and gas, and mineral ores. People have taken over the planet's biosphere at the expense of previous ecosystems, plants and animals. We have added so much fossil carbon to the atmosphere that the level is at its highest for over 4 million years. The increase is greater than that of between 8 glacial and interglacial periods, which the Earth has swung between every 100,000 years or so, but we've done this in just 200 years. Our global civilization is based on economic growth and continued use of finite resources. It is accepted that continual depletion of resources and the associated increases of pollutants are unsustainable in any ecosystem. We're heading for an unimaginable crash and possible extinction. We know the solutions. Stop emitting greenhouse gases. Use resources only at the rate they regenerate. Use energy which is primarily solar driven, but also gravitational and maybe nuclear fission or fusion. We have known about greenhouse gases for over 100 years. We've known the planet was warming in the mid-20th century. Ecological collapse has been warned about since the 1960s, yet governments and businesses have done nothing. Many movements have tried to address various parts of the problems with varying success. However, the underlying system remains the problem. Successes have often been down to mass participation, non-violent direct action, and these movements inspired the people behind Extinction Rebellion, which I will call XR. XR formed in the summer of 2018 with 3 demands. Government to tell the truth about the climate and ecological emergency. Government should set a target date of 2025 to go net carbon neutral. Government should set up a process called a citizens' assembly to help them. Extinction Rebellion is not offering any detailed solutions. XR declared rebellion against the UK government on the 31st of October 2018. We've held 2 big international rebellion events in 2019, attracting tens of thousands of people. XR is active on every continent, apart from Antarctica. The UK's government's response has been for the House of Commons to declare a climate emergency, to change the Climate Change Act to zero carbon by 2050, and to organise a small citizens' assembly to look at how individuals can go zero carbon by 2050. Therefore, none of the XR demands have been met. XR is organised as a holacracy, decentralised decision-making. There's an explicit culture of not blaming and shaming. We are all in a toxic culture of colonialism, patriarchy and racism, and regenerative culture is central to our ethos. We use creative techniques to get our message across. Pink boats on bridges and crossroads, the theatrical Red Brigade, samba bands, supergluing onto buildings and vehicles, and standing by our actions with a willingness to be arrested and go to prison. Parallel, but separate from XR, is the School Strike for Climate, started by the 15-year-old Swede Greta Thunberg. This too has spread internationally with monthly school strikes and rallies, and Greta has become an inspiring public speaker and ambassador. I tried to start XR York in October 2018, and only 6 people turned up. A month later, 2 students held the same event and 60 came, and Extinction Rebellion York was started. A year on, our Facebook group has 1,100 members. We have Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, a website, weekly meetings with over 40 attending regularly. We have filmmakers, photographers, musicians, event organisers, scientists and public speakers. Our meetings attract people from all walks of life, from teenagers to pensioners in their 80s. XR is the most successful group I've ever been involved with in over 30 years of environmentalism. XR York has staged road closures, an impromptu meeting with council leaders, a funeral march finishing up with a die-in in a bank which funds fossil fuel companies, a protest at a fast fashion outlet, and a huge people's assembly at the Central Library Explore. This was called Demand a Future, a night forum on climate emergency in June, and it attracted 800 people to discuss various aspects of the situation, and it culminated in a mandate document which was handed to the council. On March the 21st, 2019, the City of York Council declared a climate emergency with cross-party support. The motion committed the council to achieving net zero carbon emissions within the council boundary by 2030. They have set up a climate change policy and scrutiny committee which meets monthly. Hundreds of other local authorities and organisations have now declared climate emergencies. There is little coordination between them, but the movement is only a few months old. Central government has had its eyes off the ball and seems to be scoring own goals rather than focusing on what's important. 2018 saw another global movement born, started when Professor Jem Bendell, a sustainable business expert, wrote a paper about the futility of his work called Deep Adaptation. It's a blunt and realistic approach to the predicament we find ourselves in. I urge you to find that online and to read it. Our challenges are to make the required personal changes to our lifestyles, to persuade government and business to tackle the problem honestly and thoroughly, and to prepare for massive changes in society driven by the collapsing climate and ecosystem and our attempts to avert that. Thank you.